Good afternoon, everybody, whether you're joining online or you're there in person.
Very good
In case,
afternoon.
thank you. How are you, sir?
All good, all good. A very thoughtful topic today. Very interested and very keen to know all the dynamics and the chemistry of these two matters.
Yeah,
Gross and subtle, gross and subtle.
yeah, this is something I believe quite a few of us, and as truth must be told, while I was just scribbling down some of these notes on what I would like to talk, I realized that I personally have been through the entire spectrum of trying to transform my gastronomic habits and struggling with them. And guys, just to give you a little background, I am into this field of yoga, psychology, and well-being for 20 plus years, and I have fallen 1,000 times on my face and struggled with this subject. I don't know about you guys, but today, as we're going to talk for about plus minus 40 minutes, I would so much like this not to be a monologue. I deeply believe that you all can give a very valuable input and we can learn from each other. So those of you who are present in Indus Valley and you're seated on the back, will you kindly come forward if that's not too much? I don't want to be too intrusive, but it would be lovely to come closer and have a one-on-one, a more dialogue-based communication, if that's okay with you. If you don't want to move, I totally get that. So, but if you can come, it can be fun. It can be fun. Okay. And I was writing this on what you see on the screen as a shared note. These are my personal scribble note that I wanted to touch. So please ignore the bad handwriting. And nevertheless, I wrote this gastronomic psychobiology, and this is kind of like a mouthful of word. But this bottom line is it basically means how we choose our food and why we like what we eat, why we get drawn towards certain food, the belief system that we harbor within ourselves, and this kind of stuff. Very basic stuff. But that's something that keeps us quite caught up in this process, right? So, if I may, I would like to ask you one simple question, and it's a very basic question. Why do you eat? You can. I'd love to hear you if you can. Just unmute yourself. Yeah.
First thing we eat because
energy.
You eat because of energy, and you were saying something.
two major things. One is we eat when we're hungry. Otherwise, we eat because it's a time to eat. And that is majority. It's time to eat. Okay, 2 o'clock lunchtime. Let's go for lunch. So that is majority happens. And second thing happens when we feel hungry, all from the stomach, then we have to grab something.
True.
And thoughtful eating, yes, those who are having thoughtful eating practice, they will eat for energy, nutrition, all those things for sure.
Yep. Yeah. So
they say you eat to live.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But if you ask me why do I eat, because I'm hungry. This is the standard answer I think a large number of people will give. And as Mr. Shivashishi was saying this, it's either I'm hungry, that's why I'm eating, or it's lunchtime. It's lunchtime. Come to the table, eat. And we eat because we are compliant. We are compliant husband, we are compliant kids, we are compliant work colleague, you cannot decide one day, no, I'm not hungry, I'm going to eat 1 hour later. Go and try saying that to your partner, especially in an Indian home. Walk to your wife and say, my dear, I love you a lot, but I'm not hungry. I will eat in 1 hour. You are going to have a bad time, most likely, because it's lunchtime, the food has been warmed up. You better show up and you eat. Keep your mouth shut. We don't want to know whether you're hungry or not. It's time to eat, you eat. It's funny, as I say this, I'm hearing this. But the answer is, we as a human being, we rarely eat because we are hungry. It's a wrong answer. And the nothing but the truth will be this: we are eating because I'm bored, I'm sad, I miss home, I broke up, I'm angry, I just saw some food, I was just giving company to my friends. What to do? I mean, like, I went to the steakhouse, I wasn't hungry, I was happily eating the salad before, but now I'm eating because somebody else is eating next to me. So I'm eating. I'm sure it is not applicable to you, but most likely you have a friend, you're asking for a friend. You have a friend who must be doing such thing. Please nod your head so I know that's the case. From time to time, we can indulge into this kind of habit. Yes, no, maybe. Okay, not too much of body movement happening, but I believe you will agree to this, that we do eat many times when we are not necessarily hungry. It's not the food time, but we eat for various other reasons. And that's the truth. We are the only animal who can eat when we are not hungry. Try doing that. Give the best of the food that your dog or your pet loves. Yeah, and you can open an entire bag of pedigree food and leave it in front of them. If they are not hungry, they are not going to eat. But we as human beings, we have this urge, this inbuilt ability. We can eat just like that. We can eat because of any of the reasons that I mentioned earlier, and there can be other 1,000 reasons for which we can eat. And if you don't belong to this category, you definitely belong to a super minority group, and I salute you. It's wonderful. It's a blessing. Thank you. You should thank God. This is absolutely awesome that you don't eat when you're not hungry. But as truth must be told, 90%, maybe 95, maybe 99, but definitely nothing less than 90% of the people could eat just because there is food in front of them or they have other reason. And that's where the psychobiology triggers in, because if we are choosing food when we are not hungry, it is not happening because some hormonal changes are taking place, some biochemical reactions are happening in your body, and it gives you a hunger indication. No, sorry, not that. Food for us is emotion, and food is emotion. Can I quickly do a bit of time travel with all of you? And I want to invite you to think about the pandemic period, which just happened a couple of years back, right? And if you were in a lockdown phase, whether you are in India or in Germany, Europe, US, I don't know where you were, and I hope your family was healthy. What was happening in those months of lockdown? And I have done an quite extensive unofficial research on that. During that period, a large number of people have turned into chefs. They were all Michelin star, homegrown chef. They were learning recipes from the social media. trying to produce food that they have never cooked. And then they were taking nice pictures and the videos of that, sharing among their friends, posting it in the social media. And it was an event to spin around food. And why? Because consciously cooking, eating reflects certain things, that if you have food on the table, it indicates you are safe. Food is the measurement of safety. Food is the measurement that you are protected. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, imagining those of you are listening, you are maybe 30, 35, 40, and you pick up your phone and you call your mother. Tell me if one of the first 5 questions is not about food, and if she will not ask you, have you eaten? Or are you well fed? Most likely no. One of these questions will be, what's going on? You had your lunch? You had your dinner? If you're blessed to be born in an Indian family, the mothers are more intrusive, and then they will really want to know what recipe you used. Is the recipe that you borrowed from your in-laws family, or your grandma's recipe, and so on and so forth? It will happen. Yeah. The mother will rarely ask other things like, so how's your business going on? Are you getting enough client? What's your KPI for this month? Nothing. Their interest is, are you well fed or not? Are you well fed or not? I remember personal incidents. Without going into much details, I was stuck in a very bad weather in suburb, in the foothills of Himalaya, not in a very high altitude. And it was bad weather. We were stuck, but without giving much details, I was having a conversation with my mother. And the first question she asked, so have you eaten your lunch? So, Mom, there are other big issues happening right there. You know, the road is blocked. I'm just hoping to reach home. But the only question she asked was, have you eaten? And this is just an indicator. Neither she's asking very consciously, neither we are replying to her, being aware that for her, knowing that her child is well fed is an indicator of protection, health, sustainability. No, we are not aware of this because this is happening under the radar, happening at the level of our neurobiology. And if I say this, it is happening in the level of neuroception, which is even our brain is not able to register consciously. This is what is being played. You know, these are the invisible strings of a puppet that has been pulled and the puppet is doing the dance. So from the distance we see, oh my God, the puppet has got his life in itself and is doing the entire show. Right. There is this nature, inbuilt nature within us where we find security and comfort in food. There is comfort food, right? There is no comfort yoga. There is no comfort workout. There is no comfort jogging. There is not comfort swimming. There is no comfort bathing. There is comfort food because of this reason. With food, we have a strong emotional link up. Now, as I say food is emotion, I can also say the food is mother. And let me tell you something. When I say mother, you close your eyes and you see the face of your biological mother. No, if that was the case, now you have moved out of the house. You are no more under the spell of your mother. Your mother is not controlling your psychobiological responses and reactions, but we carry our mother within us. Voila, this is if I may use this with all love and respect, this is a big problem. So the story goes like this. It's an Indian story. Okay. A couple went through an engaged marriage. And it's a ritual, at least it used to be a ritual long back, that after you get married, the wife cooks for the husband. And she went and asked the husband, what do you like? And the husband said, I love dosa or something like that. I enjoy eating that. And the wife said, okay, I will cook tomorrow morning for breakfast some dosa. And she prepared it. The husband ate and she asked, how was it? She said, okay. So it was not very happy about the food. So she tried again. The next day, she cooked it. Same response. Oh, it was okay, but not great. A third or the fourth day when she cooked, unfortunately, she burned the lentils. You know, you receive the sambar, that beautiful, nice, tasty, spicy stuff. She burned it and added maybe more salt. And she was very afraid to give that to the husband. Husband ate that and he almost had tears in his eyes and said, Mommy, this is so good. You cook just like my mother. It's the most spectacular food that I've ever eaten. Okay, don't get into the real thing of it. Get the metaphor here. Food is a memory. I'm quite positive each one of you, that includes me as well, we have some food habits, whether it's the bottle of Coca-Cola, whether it's some street foods in India, whether it's some kind of food. When you eat that, it brings you back to your childhood. And believe it or not, to me, when I'm in India, I want to go and eat certain things, including something like a pani puri or something, not because it's healthy. I know I'm going to have a stomach problem, but I will eat because, oh my God, that's a
Abhishek, if I can come in for a moment, because I want to connect. I want to connect to our, you can ask this question to our the listeners physically sitting there, whether they have heard this particular sentence. Just now you said, no, food is memory. In my last talk only, I discussed this one with them while we were talking about colon and tongue, that food is memory. Food is nothing less or more than that. They have heard this one, just a week back. And beautifully it's connected here. Lovely. Carry on.
Nice that we are in the same page. Nice that we are in the same page. Yes, food is memory, and that's exactly what I wrote. And like how this memory is built. So I'm going back to my childhood. I want you, if you're really present and listening, feel free to use your mind to take a mental road trip to your memory lane and identify. It's your childhood, you're about 6-7 years old, you have finished your homework, your teacher or your mother or your father feels good about that, and he wants to give you a gift, a prize. What will it be? Something sweet, most likely a candy. It can be any form of candy. It can be a cookie, it can be a candy, it can be whatever. But you received something. And you can receive some toys and stuff also. I grew up in India, and at that point, there used to be this brand of chocolate called 5-Star. It's a small candy, sugar candy, nothing but sugar. To receive a 5-Star is like Christmas. It was such a celebration. So what happened when this has been repeated few times, your association with that sweet or that food indicates not only that I'm going back to my memory unconsciously, it's an indication I have achieved something, now I'm celebrating. Okay? Now there's a twist. Before, you might have received a candy from an XYZ person when you have literally achieved something and it was at the disposal of that particular person who thought whether you deserve to receive a chocolate or a candy or not. That used to be the background, okay? That happened 30 years back. But now you have all the financial power. You have all the online shopping. You can order Zomato, Swiggy, God knows what you use in your country. And every moment you get to a state where you feel like, I need to please myself, I need to pamper myself, with a couple of clicks, somebody can bring you a platter of sweets. And as you continue this small bite-sized sweets, which biochemically is nothing more than an invitation to secrete a dopamine, increases. And the dopamine is a very beautiful thing. It's a prize hormone, but you get saturated. If you feel happy to receive one chocolate on day 1, on the day 5, you will need 2 chocolates to feel the equal amount of happiness. So that's why addiction is bad. You need more to reach to that same level of dopamine secretion, and that continues happily. And voila, you are stuffing yourself. You know that you are eating in a compulsive manner to satisfy your inner calling, to match certain hormonal inner state. And this is the starting point of our discussion. If you are agreeing to this can happen to you, or you know somebody to whom this kind of psychobiological interplay is taking place, now we reach to the condition, okay, boss, I understood this. What can I do about it right now? And this is where dinacharya, yogic lifestyle, yogic philosophy, in India we call the Sanatan Dharma based lifestyle principles and practices comes as a handy tool to break the spell of an object, a food, to develop an impact on you. I haven't mentioned much till now. Food is not only your personal memory. Food is also related to your collective consciousness. The society you are born, that decides a lot what will be your relationship with food. If you are born in Asia, and if I may take the liberty to say any third world country, I am sure one of your caregiver must have told you, finish your food. There are kids in Africa, they don't have enough. Or we don't waste food. It's a bad manners. Or you are fortunate to have the food on your plate. There are people out there, they don't have the luxury of food. Now, please take a moment to understand the people who are telling this to us, and if somebody mentioned similar things to you when you were growing up, there are many things, many information has been transmitted to you and you are not even aware of it. When you are going home and telling your kids, or when you are told as a kid, don't waste your food or finish the food on your plate, you are basically told that you are less important than the food on the plate. The food on the plate has more value than your health. The food on the plate has more value than your inner bodily sensors, which are telling you, this is enough, I cannot eat anymore, I am full. or somebody decided that you should be eating certain amount of broccoli in the meal and not the potato wedges, and you didn't felt like eating the broccoli, and somebody forced you to eat that. So biologically, with all nice and good intentions, we went through a process where we were educated to not to listen to our body. And when we learn not to listen to our body, guess what? One day, we are an adult living in a body which is 35, 40 years old, but the psychobiological evolution is still stuck at the age of 6. So no amount of rational wisdom from the head, you are in Indus Valley, I'm sure you are having periodic consultation with the doctors, and let's say Dr. Belaku tells you, listen, you're here for 2 weeks, please make sure you eat this food. When you go home, your lunch should be by 11:30, your dinner should be before 5:30, and listen, try to avoid X, Y, and Z. This is for your long-term health benefit. Tell me if there's anything that you will not understand in what she's saying. Of course, you will understand every single word she said. There's no problem with your rational mind. But the moment your rational mind wants to interact with your hypothalamus, that wonderful stuff on the back of your head, which is responsible for the emotional response and reactions, it will say, stop it. You need some comfort food. You are not feeling up to the mark this moment. You can fix yourself later. Right now, go and please yourself with some comfort food. And you make choices without consulting your rational mind. And the part of your body, the part of your brain, which decides this entire dance of food selection, is not consulting the rational mind. And you wondering, man, all that New Year's resolution that from this 1st of January, I will eat more salads and the less meat and the more of this and less of that. All gone. I'm not able to stick to anything. I must be really a bad person. I must lack willingness. I am not a good human being. And what not, you can talk to yourself, but that is not your fault. Please understand this. So it is not your it is not within your ability to control your mind. So what we do in Sanatana Dharma, we will program ourselves to create first a positive relationship with the food, and then also to create certain amount of detachment from the food. One of the first thing that we do, and this is very popular in India, the food is prasadam. It's a blessed food. You sit to eat, whether it's a breakfast, whether it's lunch or dinner, you put your forehead and thank God for the food that you bring it in. You say whatever the prayer you want to say, and we take it as a prasad. What happens? What is prasad? It's a blessed food, meaning you are not going to jump into it, and it is not on the table for you to indulge your sensory appetite. When it is prasad, you are talking about nourishment of your body, and more than that, you are talking about spiritual nourishment, meaning you are ready to look into the subtle spiritual aspect to it. Believe it or not, you will not change from one week to another. But if you continue to have this mindset, after a while, you will start sensing a change with your relationship with the food. Then there's another thing. In almost in any traditional Indian house, there is this ritual. There is no business. We don't combine work with food. We over the last century, we never combined Netflix and lunch, scrolling and lunch, nothing. When you are eating, you are just eating. And before you eat, there's always a ritual. You wash your hands, you wash your face. In a very classical houses, families, you even take a bath, a shower before you come to the dining table and you start having your food. What is a shower? Shower is a process of resting your body. And that's why I would say the second important thing is resting before feasting. If you allow your body to rest, even for 10 minutes before you eat, the probability of you making smarter choices of food will be much higher. You cannot take a bath. I can totally understand out in the world, you cannot take a pause from your office hours and say, hey, I need to take a shower before I go and have my burger. No, but what you can definitely do is sit 5 minutes quietly, do some belly breathing, do a little bit of pranayam, do a bit of yoga nidra, relax yourself. So your food choices will not be compulsive. It will be conscious. Conscious choosing of the food will help you. Then, how can you reduce your dependency on food and your strong attachment to the food? Another great thing to be done is fasting, periodic fasting. Of course, you need to keep in mind your body type. On certain body type, fasting is not really recommended. You need to understand in what's your health condition, the weather, and so many factors are there. But yes, periodic fasting is not only shutting down the system for a while and helping the kitchen, our inner kitchen, to go through a housekeeping and reviving. It's also helping the brain to develop a control over our hunger. I can endure the hunger. I'm not going to fall for it. So it's a great help in developing a healthy food habit. The next one will be, don't eat with your eyes. Don't eat with your eyes takes place when you are really hungry, and you have no control over your hunger. Then you enter to the dining area and you see a widespread buffet waiting for you. And you start making a pyramid on your plate of all the things that is there. And that creates a big problem. You're not eating, consulting your body. You're choosing the food because it looks good, it looks tasty, because it's get the food again. In my childhood, I was told in Africa, the kids are hungry, so let me eat again. Maybe I have to starve for the rest 5 days of my life, which is never going to happen. So many roles can be played, and you will pick more than what you can chew. So take a pause and try not to eat with your eyes. Now, if you are coming from a country which is not India, in the West, there's a huge tendency of ordering food because it's cheaper. It saves time, it's tasty, and we do a lot of outside order food. The truth must be told, nobody who's selling you food is really concerned about your nourishment. They're concerned about the profit they're making. And they want you to buy their food in a repetitive manner. So my suggestion will be, if you can go for homemade food, even if you're a bad cook, if you can eat homemade food, it's a better thing than a food that comes in a packet that has a long rack life. It's not going to do good. And another thing will be helpful will be to eat slow. If you want to re-educate your behavior about food, this practice you can do from this evening itself. When you go to dinner, eat slow. And when you enter the dining area in Indus Valley, have you paid attention what's written there? Eat in silence. Eat in silence. If you can eat in silence, if you are not going to go back to your cell phone and scrolling, you are going to listen to your somatic wisdom. Your body is nothing but a wise transmitter of informations. And your body will tell you what you should eat and how you should eat and how much to eat. And if you just need to listen to it, you cannot say, hey, okay, shut up. Don't disturb me. I'm eating. The food is too tasty, right? 90% of our food-related decisions are spinning on this 10 centimeter tongue and the taste buds. And we are ignoring that 9 meter long GI tract through which that food has to pass. It's not fair. It's not proportional, right? You ignore the 9 meter long of intestine just to please the 8 centimeter long tongue. It is way much easy said than done, but a progressive information and education needs to be there. My last statement, you can pick literally any professional sports person. You will notice they have detached their emotions from the food. They understand something very simple that has been said 1,000 times in yoga and Ayurveda. Food is medicine. Food can be categorized into 2 categories. It is either adding life to you or it is taking life out of you. There's no third category. So when you treat food as medicine, then you understand, this medicine, I might not need it. Or this medicine is reacting. I'm allergic to this medicine. This medicine might work for my partner, but not for me. So you make your food choices very individualized based on your prakriti, based on your lifestyle, based on where you want to be, what should be your highest potential that you want to reach. Based on that, you make your food choice. Again, I close my talk by saying one simple thing. 90% of your food selection is not rational mind. So please don't beat yourself and punish your mind that you're making wrong choices. Rather, start programming your somatic wisdom, your somatic body. Allow yourself to rest, and you will notice as a collateral effect, you are going to make better choices. I hope this information helps you, and I spoke in a phonetic speed. And if there's any questions, we have just a few more minutes, we can take it. Thank you.
Do you suggest, if I can ask?
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, my question is around, so when I'm at home, I do intermittent fasting mostly. I may have some juice and some lemon water or some type of broth, but I don't really like to eat breakfast. And since being here, I'm told I have to eat every single meal. And I just wonder why, if I don't usually do this, am I having to do it now?
First of all, I'm not going to talk too much in depth about this because the right person to talk to will be the Dr. Bella or the doctor who's seeing you. Your constitution is the right, has to be considered when you're choosing your food habits. What you could digest 2 years back, you might not be able to digest now. And that is one of the problems with our memory. See, at our mental dimension, we live in an eternal now. So we think what I could eat when I was 25, I can eat the same thing at my 45 and I can digest them and I can still live happily and being healthy. No, of course not. The metabolism can become sluggish. The need for the body might have changed. I might have given a birth of a kid, I might have went through certain other hormonal changes in my body, and now my requirement can be very different. That's one of the things. And then I believe the doctor might have already explained to you the concept of Agni, how much heat is required to process a food based on the country you are coming from. And all these aspects will be applied before a prescription is been given to you. Standalone, intermittent fasting can be a good thing for a certain group of people, but it might not be the best thing after you analyze where you stand and you look at the functionality of an intermittent fasting. Yeah. I don't know if I answered to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any lights on the way of cooking? In a short, very short, we can have another session for that. Way of cooking.
Follow three things at what my grandmother used to follow. Clean yourself. If possible, if you cannot take a shower, wash your hands and the face and try to be as clean as you can, so you don't contaminate your food with the energy of your last meeting and the anger and the frustration that you wanted to throw on your Uber driver or somebody. That will be one of the three things. Pick the vegetables that are not necessarily available in the local market, but are locally produced. If you're living in India, you definitely don't need to have an avocado coming from the Mexico. Or if you're living in Mexico, you don't have to get the mango coming from Bangalore. Choose the locally produced food. Cook slow, gentle, harmoniously. Cook with love. Like, this food will become me, a part of me, right? And if you want to allow something to be part of your body, the way you will cook, that should be the approach, I would say.
Very. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So thank you all. I think our time is coming to an end. We need to rush now. You need to rush, actually.
Okay, thank you. We'll catch up again, Mr. Abhishek. Thank you so much for the
Thank
good
you, sir.
insights for our very important second medicine at Indus Valley is the food. Second medicine. Thank you.
Take care.